Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time watching my channel, my name is Tiffany Hoxie and I want to say thank you so much for being here with me. I enjoy each and every single one of you that tunes in to talk about our different things in life that help us achieve to be our best selves. So what we're talking about today, up on my board, like I usually do, I put our focus word. We've got that word envision. When you can learn to place envision into your habits, into your life, something begins to happen. You know, for me, before a lot of things have happened in my life, I have thought about them, I've put intention into them. I've really, taken a piece of paper and I put down what I want to happen in my life. And I've taken that, I've said that before in my videos, taking that pen, putting it to paper, thinking about the bigger picture of what I want for myself. And so today I felt that I really wanted to share why I think that setting a vision for your life and envisioning something for your future is so important. You know, when we stop and think about our lives, we can get caught up in the Monday through Friday, waking up, feeling like we're on this hamster wheel, just trying to make it to work or trying to get the kids to school, and we stop thinking about the bigger picture, right? What is it that we really want? Not just being on the hamster wheel, but where do we really want our lives to take us? And that's why I think talking about Envision and having this bigger vision for your life is so important. So I want to tell you a story. So this was about 10 years ago. I decided that I was going to move to New York City. I started telling a bunch of my friends that I was going to move to New York. I also created business cards that said that I would be working in New York City. So I was living in Syracuse at the time, but I thought to myself, I want to create this vision for my life that's going to get my mind and my heart and my soul all ready to move to New York City. And so I actually found one of my old business cards that say Syracuse and in New York City, and I started telling everybody that I was going to move to New York. Then a year passed by. Then another year passed by. 6 years ended up passing me by before I finally made the move to New York. But there was one thing that stayed with me the whole time, and that was I kept my vision alive. I kept talking about it. I kept telling anybody who would listen I was going to move to New York. Even when people stopped believing me, I never stopped believing in myself. I knew that someday I was going to move to New York and I was going to make it happen. So I kept writing it down, made my business cards, kept just telling myself it's going to happen, started looking for roommates, anything to keep the vision alive. And after 6 years, when I finally did make the move here, other visions started to happen. I started thinking about, okay, now what? Now what else do I want to do? So the second thing that I want to tell you that I really had a big vision for my life, I actually had never really traveled in my life, but once I was here in the city, I started meeting all different types of people who were traveling all over the country, had passports since they were young, and that was something I could not relate to. And, by the time I was 30 years old, I still wasn't traveling. I didn't have a passport. And I can still remember this conversation where I went out with a bunch of my friends and everybody is standing in a circle and they're going around and they're talking about where they were going to be traveling in Europe that year. And I remember just thinking to myself, what am I going to say when it gets to my turn. I had never traveled. I wasn't going to be traveling to Europe that year. And so when it got to be my turn, I simply said that I didn't have a passport. And the next day I woke up and I told myself, I want to create this vision for my life. I want to start to travel. I want to get a passport. And again, I started writing it down. I started telling people. I think within a couple weeks, I went and I got my passport. And then I went nowhere. But I had the vision. I was intentional. I had the passport and I was ready to go. So about a year and a half later, I still had that passport ready. I still had that vision in the forefront of my mind. And I finally went and I traveled. And every year since that moment, I am intentional with my thoughts. I think about the vision I want for my life. I write down the countries that I want to travel to. I come up with my spending plan and I make it happen. My third vision that I want to talk to you about today is that I would like to become a published author. I, to this day, do not have anything that is published other than my blogs online, but I would like to get either my children's book that I wrote published or my self-help book that I am writing currently for adults published. And so here I am confessing and telling everyone what my third envision is that is yet to be true, but someday it will be. You put it out into the universe, you ask for it, you write it down, you make that vision happen, you think intently what it is that you want, and I promise you, it works. You get your mind ready, you put your thoughts down onto paper, and you make it happen. So I want to go over 3 things with you today, how you can start to bring a vision and envisioning into your life. The first thing, in order to create a vision for your life, start to put everything down on paper. Tell me in present tense what it is that you truly want for your life. If nothing was off the table, what is it that you want to do? Who do you want to surround yourself with? What career do you want to be in? What do you want to do with your free time? Do you have anything that you are very passionate about, like philanthropy or sports? Tell me in as much detail as you can what it is that you truly want for your life. Write it down on a piece of paper. Tell me who you spend your time with. The more that you can get specific with what it is that you want to do, the more that you can create this vision that you want. The second one I want to talk to you about is intangibles and how they're better than tangibles. When you're writing your vision, I want you to focus on the things that are going to bring you joy that's not stuff. So even though you might want a really nice house or a really nice apartment or a brand new car, I want you to mostly put your focus when you do your vision on the intangibles. What kind of person do you want to be? Who do you want to spend your time with? What do you have compassion for, right? We want to put those things before the materialistic things. That is what's most important. The last thing I want to talk to you about today when we do our envision is I want you to keep that vision alive. You know, there's many times that I have to go back in and I look at the vision that I've written down for myself and I like to add things to it. You know, my life is constantly changing, and when I achieve things, I'm not afraid to look and seek out the next possible challenge or what it is I want to add to my life or what it is that I'm looking to do next, right? So I want you to keep that vision alive. Don't be afraid to go back in, add things, take things out, reread that vision, and then I want you to put it somewhere where you're going to see it. You know, a lot of the times we do these activities or we spend maybe a couple days really being intentional, and then our weeks get busy again and we forget about it, right? But I want you to keep the vision alive. Hang it somewhere where you're going to see it. Once you write it down, what it is that you want for your life, you can hang it by your desk, you can hang it at work, you can hang it in your closet, somewhere that you're going to be able to keep it in the forefront of your mind and read it, right? It's so important to keep this right at the forefront of our mind so that we're constantly thinking about it. All right. So thank you so much for joining me once again. I look forward to chatting with you next week. All my love.